Here's Tucker Carlson talking with Tulsi Gabbard about the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Biden administration has done everything it can for 2 years to stoke a third world war beginning in Eastern Europe. And that plan is unfolding before our eyes, and no one seems to notice. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, the despot who runs Ukraine, was on CNN last night.
It's funny how Tucker calls him a despot, while at the same time actually defending a tyrannical despot, Vladimir Putin, who is invading Ukraine and committing genocide and stuff. Like, how much more despotic can you be?
And he said he expects the Biden administration to give him F-16s soon.
We don't have the fighter jets to deal with it, and to counteract the Russian hits, and we really need this, and really appeal to the president that they could start training Ukrainian pilots. And President Biden told me that it will be worked upon, and I believe that United States will give us the opportunity to defend our skies.
Yeah, what's wrong with Zelensky requesting some fighter jets from the United States? I know there are some other nations that are helping out with jets and other equipment.
Haven't they been telling us for over a year that Russia's about to be defeated? Then why are we sending an ever-increasing amount of money and material to Ukraine? Could they be lying to us? And speaking of lying to us...
Or could the predictions be wrong? I mean, Putin thought the war would be over in a few days. But no, yeah. Sometimes war takes longer than what people can predict, which means, people still need hope and all that.
To us. Remember they told us that Russia blew up its own pipeline? The New York Times told us. Everyone told us that. Shut up, Putin defender, the Russians did it. Well, now they're admitting the Russians didn't do it, but we didn't do it either. Something called a pro-Ukrainian group blew up the Nord Stream pipeline and created the largest environmental disaster in human history. And
yeah, I doubt he's going to give any evidence of this supposed group blowing up the pipeline.
Also shafted our NATO allies in Western Europe, a pro-Ukrainian group. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard served in the Congress, ran for president. She joins us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks,
so
Tucker.
This is a pro-Ukrainian group that has the military prowess to blow up one of the world's most important pipelines, but the Biden administration had nothing to do with it. Is that the new lie that they're telling us?
Apparently so. It is so obvious at this point, Tucker, that the United States and NATO are responsible for this act of sabotage and act of war, attacking and destroying this Nord Stream pipeline.
They could easily show some graphic of the group, taking claim of it, or some kind of writing that they've given out or whatever. But all they're going to do is make a claim that some pro-Ukrainian group blew up Nord Stream and not give any evidence for it. Because why do they need to give evidence? Their base is going to believe it no matter what, because their base loves Putin and Russia for some weird reason. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not actually surprised, but, if these people truly think Russia is in the right, why don't they go over to Russia and help them fight their war?
They've been lying to us all along about it. Now they've been busted. And so they're trying to sell us this absurd cover-up story where on the one hand, they're telling us, well, we have this new intelligence that shows us no Americans or Brits were involved in this attack. But then at the same time, we can't draw any conclusions from the intelligence on who actually did it because we don't have specific details on each of the members of this so-called pro-Ukrainian group. It's insanity for anybody who's paying attention to what they're saying. The reality is that they are responsible for this, and there are short-term and long-term serious implications for this action. It sets this precedent, Tucker, for countries like Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China to go ahead and launch these attacks and sabotage against critical infrastructure against other countries.
Why would they actually care if Russia attacked any critical infrastructure when they're all in support of Russia?
like gas pipelines, undersea cables, financial systems, satellites. The list goes on and on. Just imagine the kind of problems, to say the least, that would cause for us, the American people, and for the world.
But can I just ask a super dumb question? No one's ever answered it. So this pipeline fed Germany, which is the economic engine of Europe. Germany is the key player in NATO. We're all for NATO. We just wrecked the economy of our key NATO ally. If Germany blew up the Hoover Dam, would they still be our tight NATO ally? Like, doesn't NATO have to disintegrate after we get caught doing this?
You know, that's the thing here. I think a couple of points is the Biden administration, NATO, want us to believe that they want us to believe this cover-up story, first of all, which their cover-up story implies that the United States and NATO's military and intelligence agencies are so inept and incapable that nobody knows what was going on. Nobody saw this coming. But secondly, you're exactly right. This was an act of war not just against Russia, but also against our ally, Germany.
Yeah.
Also,
An act of war against Russia? That's hilarious. A nation that's invading another nation wants to, like, this attack. If by a pro-Ukrainian group, which I doubt, is an attack on Russia, is extremely laughable. Don't invade other nations if you don't want to be attacked.
Act of war can only be declared by Congress, not by the President of the United States or anybody else. That clearly didn't happen. And that's where Biden needs to address the nation, tell us the whole truth about what went down, and Congress needs to exercise its oversight responsibilities to actually investigate this, to tell us the truth, get to the bottom of it, and to hold those responsible accountable.
Yeah. I mean, it's the craziest, most reckless thing I've ever seen in 50 years of sort of paying attention.
What's the most reckless thing he's seen? Because I don't understand. What, helping another nation defend itself in a war is the most reckless thing he's ever seen? That's pretty wild.